have decided to give you another version of the same shrimps that I made the other day. I have butterflied them this time and kept them. And I patted them dry. I'm going to put them into this bag, plastic Ziploc bag, and I'm going to take half a tablespoon of saffron powder, just like so, and sprinkle it in that bag. Zip it up, let the air out, and just shake it up and let it marinate in the fridge. Exactly like I did last time, except last time I put it in water. This time I'm going to do it dry because I find the shrimps have a lot of water in them. So here we go, into the fridge. And I'm going to do my errands and I'll come back later tonight and finish it. Before I start filming my next video, I just got my orchids redone for Valentine's. I felt very feminine today, so I thought I'm going to do pretty pink. I took my cinnamon and made an X in it to give it a kiss and a little heart from the dollar store. The flowers are from Ken's Flowers and they do an extremely amazing job. Every time I go there, I always walk out being so happy with my flowers. And these last for like about a month and a half, sometimes two. And whenever I cook, I always light a light scented candle. Today I've decided to do another version of my shrimps that I posted the other day. Similar, but a drier version. I'll list all the ingredients below in the description box. And I am making some curried chicken. I'm going to do a simple trout that I made last night, and the kids loved it so much that I'm going to make it again, and I'm going to serve it with my peas and rice that I have left over from last night. First up, for the trout, I'm going to get a baking tray like this. I like this copper bottom one, which works really well. I have a coconut oil spray, which I'm going to spray. It just makes it for easy cleanup later because it won't stick. So I'm just going to spray the pan. And then I am going to sprinkle a little bit of my organic oil on this tray. I hope you can see that. Just about 1 tablespoon, because I'm going to put the fish on here and massage it into the fish. I have this fresh trout that I got at Loblaws. It's Steelhead Trout fillet. It's quite heavy. It's about 2.5 pounds. So I'm going to take it out and put it on this tray, and I'm going to show you how I prep it. First up, I'm going to put the trout in this fish, in this tray. First up, I've taken 2 tablespoons of organic olive oil, and I'm going to massage it into the fish on both sides. Make sure it's nicely coated. It's a very low-fat dish, so you could even put less oil if you want, but I like to do it because you want to taste a little bit of that lovely olive taste on this fish. Okay, so I've massaged the oil into the fish on both sides. And guys, you must be wondering, I'm all over the map doing all these different things. My channel is more a lifestyle channel that I wanted to start to do because I absolutely love it. And so I do hair, makeup, style, beauty, house decorating, and cooking is also my passion. So I hope I can teach just one person how to do this, and I'll be totally happy with that. First up, I am going to flip my fish on top of the other one. I'm going to take half a teaspoon of jerk powder, which I got from Barts, and I'm going to put that fish down there, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Half a teaspoon, so that's 1 teaspoon in total, and that's going to sit on top. I'm going to take about a tablespoon of chopped ginger, and I'm going to just sprinkle it on top of my fish. So it's 1 tablespoon of chopped ginger that I've prepped before. Just as is, like that. And then I am going to take 1 chopped chili. This is 2 of them in here, so I'm just going to sprinkle it all over my fish as is. I made this last time and the kids absolutely loved it, and they asked me to make it again. I'm going to do about 12 sprigs of thyme just sprinkled all over it. I'm just pulling it off the stalks, about 12 stems. Let me just do this and I'll show you the next step. And now I have all the thyme sprinkled on the fish. I'm gonna take a tablespoon of the Barts Jerk seasoning. Any seasoning, jerk seasoning will do, doesn't have to be Barts. And I will just sprinkle it on top as is, like that. I'm just gonna use my fingers because it's just better control, but it's a tablespoon. And you wanna kind of coat the fish nicely and let it marinate, just like that. Just cover the fish with this spice powder. It's about a tablespoon. If you want to use a little bit more, if you want it a little stronger, you can go ahead and do it. But it was just so fantastic last night. It was just perfect. So there you go. And then I take one lime that I've washed, and I'm going to get my zester. I like this wide zester because I like the chunks of the lime that comes into it, and I'm going to do that on top of my fish and try not to get the white skin in there, just the green. It smells so divine right now. I just want to eat the fish raw. Then you will preheat your oven at 300 it takes 20 minutes to cook, and it's so quick. It's low fat and fantastic. Then I cut the lemon in half, sorry, not the lemon, the lime, and I'm going to sprinkle half a lime all over here and just let it marinate. Keep it at room temperature because it cooks evenly when it's at room temperature. I'm going to use a little sprinkle of salt. This lime is not very juicy, so I'm going to use the other half as well that I used. Sprinkle with about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Less is more. And one dish done for dinner. I'm going to serve this with my peas and rice that I had left over from the other night. And I made way too much. 3 cups was way too much for us. 2 cups would have been more than sufficient, but of course I wanted to go more than less. I decided to do a chicken curry that all my friends absolutely love. I've greased my pan and I've added about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in here. You can use grapeseed, but I've chose to use olive oil. I put 5 curry leaves in, and I've got 2 sliced red chili peppers that I'm going to throw in right now. And I have a cup, I think a measuring cup full of sliced onion, and I slice them into pieces like that. So I'm going to fry that up. I'm going to fry it till it is a light golden brown, and you kind of just let it sit for a bit to cook. Don't keep stirring it, let it brown. My onions are becoming quite caramelized and brown, and I want it to be like that, and it's quite translucent. I haven't used a lot of oil. I tried to watch all the fat that I put into my curry. I just try to make it very lean. To that, I'm going to add 1 big tablespoonful of chopped garlic, 1 tablespoon, and 1 tablespoon of chopped ginger, like really chopped fine. And I'm going to infuse that together and give it a good fry. It's pretty caramelized. I'm trying to get a close up. And I'm going to add my curry powder to that, which is, I'm going to use the Madras curry powder. I buy a lot of it because we go through it quite a bit. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons, like so. 1, 2, like really heaped spoons. And 1 teaspoon of coriander powder. So that was tablespoons and 1 teaspoon, like that, of coriander powder in there. You can get this in any Indian store, and I'm sure Loblaws or any grocery store will carry the Madras curry powder. And you give it a good stir. I've turned it down because I don't want it to burn. I'm going to add a drop of water because I want this to really fry up. Like, literally a drop of water. My whole home smells like Indian food right now. It's very dry, as you can see. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. I've added 3 pounds of chicken tenders to this recipe, so that's why I have it. So many onions in there. I'll fry this for about a minute, and then I'm gonna add my tomato paste. As you can see, it's pretty well like a paste. I'm gonna add a can of my tomatoes to that. Perfect. I've used 400 milliliters of a crushed organic chopped tomatoes in there. I'm going to put a little bit of water in here just in case I need it to. So that's cooked for about 3 minutes. I'm going to add my chicken tenders, which are the little chicken tender breasts, like little pieces in there. They like little slivers of chicken. I'm going to give it a nice stir and fry it up. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of salt, actually 1 teaspoon of salt because it's quite a bit. I've moved my chicken onto the fiercer stove to let it cook up a bit, and it is cooking up, frying up really well. I have it on pretty high, so I just have to watch it because this stove is really fierce. That little pot there, my dog's decided she has a palate for good food too. She refuses to eat her dog food, so I've got to cook her up some gourmet food every day, otherwise she won't eat. And I'm doing a little bit of rice, mainly chicken, and I'm going to put some fresh peas on it on top and then steam it for her dinner. Okay, my chicken's been cooking for about 7 minutes. I'm going to use 1 cup of coconut cream. You buy it in a tin and you empty it. I put it in a... And I'm going to cook this on high, which I have right now, and let it infuse with my chicken, and then I'm going to turn it down low and cook. I do not want it watery like that, so this has to evaporate. When it's on high, it does it, but you have to keep an eye on this, or else it'll burn. And I keep scraping down the sides like that. You don't have to do this step, but I'm going to use about a tablespoon of brown sugar. That's 2 teaspoons, 1 tablespoon. And I am using the one which has 0 calories, and it's the Skinny Gold. I will link it in the description box. You can use brown sugar, you can use white sugar. You don't have to use any sugar, but I just think it just brings out the taste of the hot and the sweet, and I'm gonna add a little bit of lime juice at the end for the sour. Filling up, as you can see here, and you really have to keep an eye on it. You don't want the bottom to burn. I have it on high, on the gas mark, and it's high. I'm just going to watch this. I'm doing my shrimps again that I did the other night, except this time I'm not soaking them in water. I'm going to do it in just the turmeric powder. I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm using olive oil today, and I have about 6 curry leaves, which flavors this food, and I'm going to add my onions as soon as it gets hot. I have my lettuce to go with the curry. I'm going to put the dried curry in the lettuce wrap and wrap it, or I'm going to use the shrimps. And I have them marinated. I've taken them out. It's just plain turmeric powder sitting there and marinating. My oil is hot, so I'm going to add half my onions in there. And I'm going to save half for later. And give it a nice little fry. I have to keep an eye on my chicken here. I don't want it to burn, but I want it to thicken. That's why I'm doing this. I'm giving both dishes a swirl. It's starting to thicken up a little bit. This cooks for about, in total, 30 minutes. So my onions are a little bit caramelized, very little, and translucent. So I'm adding 1 tablespoon of garlic and 1 tablespoon of ginger. I've chopped a little bit too much. And to that, I'm going to add 1 chilli that's diced up fine. You can leave the seeds in, or you can take it out. I chose to leave them in because I like it spicy. I'm going to continue frying this. And if you feel that it's too strong the fire, just turn it down so you can control that. That's been frying for about a minute and a half. I'm going to add my tomatoes and fry it up in there. To the shrimps, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that low-fat sugar that I was telling you about. That's about a tablespoon. Again, I will list it in the link below. You can use any type of sugar, but you do need it to get the sweet, sour, and hot in that dish. And the sugar also caramelizes the onions and the tomato quicker. So you just have to watch it. I'm going to give this one a little swirl. As you can see, it's thickening slowly but surely. So to this, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, because we already have turmeric in the shrimp. This is really good for you. It's good for inflammation. And speaking of inflammation, I just got onto this new product that I've been drinking, and it's alkaline water that's really good. You can get it at Summerhill, and this one is lemon and ginger. Give this a nice stir. Put my tamarind paste in, about a teaspoon. Again, I like using a knife because it's easy to get off. It sticks otherwise. In my last video, I linked all about the tamarind tree and the curry leaf tree. In the description, I described a little bit more about it. My chicken is almost done. It's getting really thick. I'm going to cover it and let it cook for about 10 minutes on very low. My tamarind shrimp is coming along. It's incorporating really well with the paste, and I'm going to give it a nice stir. I'm going to cover my chicken. It's quite thick, and I'm happy with that consistency. So I'm going to put the timer on. It's on. My tamarind paste is all cooked. I'm going to add my shrimps. Again, it's really dry. You can see them through the bag. I'm going to throw them in. And this is going to be a dry version of what I made the other day. And I'm going to throw my other half of the onions in to let it cook. Shrimps don't take a long time to cook, so you really have to watch this. You don't want it to overcook because it may taste rubbery. I'm going to add about 1/2 cup to my shrimps. And I'm going to add actually less than 1/2 cup, and then about 1/2 cup to my chicken, because there's a lot of chicken there. And the rest of it, I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to freeze it so when I run out next time I have it frozen. I've made sure I washed it and dried it really well, because it can be full of sand, and that can be really gross when you take a chunk of it. My shrimps are almost done. They smell absolutely delicious. I forgot to add, I'm going to add just literally a pinch and a bit. Chicken is all done. I'm going to shut that off. My dog's food is all done. I'm going to shut that off. Oops, shut that off. And my shrimps are all done. I forgot. I'm going to add 1 lime juice to this one. And 1/2 lime to the shrimps. You can always add more if you're so inclined to. That's 1/2. And the other 1/2. And I'll give it a stir. Lemon in and give it a good stir. This recipe is from my baby nanny, who used to raise me when I was a child, and then she went on to become a housekeeper. She made the best curries, along with my aunt and uncle, who were amazing cooks, and my cousin Sylvia, who I have to say I learned most of my cooking from. The shrimps are her recipe, and they are to die for. I cannot stress, to die for. I love design and fashion and cooking, and I hope I can inspire somebody. If I can inspire just one person through my videos, I will be just so grateful. Hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to making more videos for you guys. Since Valentine's Day is coming up, I figured I would showcase all the little decorations that I have with my arrangements. And these little hearts I purchased from the dollar store, believe it or not. They're so inexpensive and yet they look so pretty, and it just adds a beautiful finishing touch to a table or mantle. Thanks for watching.